All right, perfect. Okay. Good afternoon, or good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining the June new member onboarding webinar. My name is Sydney Konahia, and I am the manager of member services and retention at IFA. And we host these webinars every other month as a way to give new members or even long-term members who just need a refresh, a deep dive into all things IFA and show you the different ways you can participate and utilize your membership. So today we have a wonderful lineup of speakers outside of myself. Our main focus today will be on the Franchise Business Network and the Women's Franchise Network, and here to kind of discuss those programs. We have Megan Center, who is partner at Quarles and Brady, and she is the co-chair of the Women's Franchise probably committee, not network, or both. And then we have Caitlin Russell, who is the director of event and partner operations at IFA, and she is the staff liaison for the Franchise Business Network. I already introduced myself, and I will be talking about our mentor program, Franship, along with some other benefits and opportunities. And we have Zach Kirschner, manager of recruitment and retention at IFA. And he will be kind of giving you guys some background information on the IFA Foundation and government relations team. All right, so to kind of kick things off, I just want to introduce you guys to the membership team. The membership team consists of Paul Rocchio, who is Senior Vice President. I'm sure everyone on this call has either heard Paul's name or actually knows him. I like to refer to him as IFA's mascot. He has been with IFA for, I think, 26 years, so he knows a lot about a lot. Myself and Zach as well. But I like to start off with the membership team just because we are normally the first people you guys speak with, and the ones you get to know the most. So anytime you have a question, whether it's unrelated to membership, please do not hesitate to reach out to any of the three of us. We are more than happy to help and get you to the right place. So a little background about IFA. We were founded in 1960, and we are the world's largest and oldest organization representing the franchise industry globally. Our mission is to protect, enhance, and promote franchising, which we will get into how we do that later in this webinar. And our member base covers over 300 different business sectors within franchising. I remember when I started at IFA, or actually I was in my interview process, and Paul actually asked me what I thought about when I heard franchising, and I brought up fast food restaurants, but definitely working at IFA and getting a greater look at franchising, you really can franchise anything, which is actually pretty incredible. And IFA membership, our base spans over 1,100 brands, 600 supplier members, and over 10,000 franchisee owners and operators. All right, so one of the really great ways for members to get involved and kind of hold a bit of a thought leadership position within IFA is to join a forum or committee. We have the 3 forums listed. They are specific to your member type, and the committees are a bit more broad and based off of your area of interest. But we have the franchisee forum, franchisor forum, and the supplier forum advisory board. The individuals that serve on these forums are kind of the best people to speak with if you're running into any issues as far as being a franchisee or franchisor or supplier. Again, committees are a bit more broad, and there are more committees than forums, so I don't have them all listed here, but if you wanted to check them all out, you can at this link down below. So for instance, with committees, we have the Marketing and Innovation Committee, Women's Franchise Committee, Franchise Relations Committee, kind of opportunities that are tailored to the roles and interests of our members outside of just what your specific member type is. Most forums and committees do meet virtually throughout the year, but they do all meet in person at our annual convention in February and our advocacy summit in September. So even if you're not a member of a forum or committee, but you would like to sit in on an in-person meeting at one of those annual events that we host, you're more than welcome to. We do have guest seating at all meetings except for the board of directors and the finance committee. As I mentioned, if you wanted to see a full list of all of our committees, you can go to this web address here. And if you're interested in joining any, you can reach out to the staff liaison that is listed on the page of that specific committee, or you can shoot me an email and I'm happy to connect you with the staff liaison. All right, so now jumping into a very exciting portion where I will be interviewing Megan and Caitlin on the Women's Franchise Network and the Franchise Business Network. Thank you both so much for joining us today. Could you just take a couple of seconds or a couple, as much as you want, but take some time to just give us a bit of background on who you are. Megan, I will kick it off to you.
Okay, great. Thank you for giving me the time to speak to everyone today. Glad that we have a lot of new members here that can get involved at their local level. So a little bit about me. I am a partner at Quarles and Brady, a franchise law firm. Through my position on the Women's Franchise Committee, I am the co-chair of the Women's Franchise Network Task Force. So through one of the committees that Sydney was talking about, I've been on this committee now. This is actually my 6th and last year. Unfortunately, I have to roll off after this year. But I will say just a small plug for committees and getting involved. It's such a wonderful way to get to know other members within the franchise space, and then getting to know all of the wonderful members of IFA and just getting more connected with the group. It's a really good way to get involved. But even before you jump on or apply to be on the committees, these local spaces and these the networks are a really good way to get involved at I don't want to call it a lower level, but just kind of at a smaller level. So the women's franchise networks are in place to create local communities of women-centered groups and activities that create those additional touch points and opportunities to connect with women at a local level. As Sydney said, you can see the orange in the map is where we have current chapters. We are always looking for new chapters to start. So if you are getting involved somewhere where you do not see a chapter, I would love to speak to you about it. There's no right or wrong way to conduct these groups. We just really like it to be another way for women to get involved with the franchise space.
Awesome, thank you. And Megan, you mentioned one thing which I will jump back to after I let Caitlin introduce herself about opening a new chapter or location. But Caitlin, thank you so much for joining us as well. Can you give the audience a bit of background on yourself and kind of what you do at IFA?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today, and thank you for being new or old existing members of IFA. We're happy to have your support. As Sydney said at the beginning, I'm Director of Event Partnership and Operations here at IFA. I've been with IFA for about 9 years, and mostly on the conferences team, where I lead the logistics for IFA events, work with our partner organizations on expos, and then our partner events with Franchise Update Media as well. And then I'm also the staff liaison for these FBN local networks.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So Megan, to kind of go back to, again, you mentioned we're always looking for other locations. So as you guys can see, we have this map here with all of the current FBN and WFN locations. The dots that have both the orangish blue are ones that are both FBN and WFN, and then blue is just FBN, orange is just WFN. So as you can see, we don't have locations everywhere in the US, not in every city, but Megan, kind of what does it look like for an individual to open a new WFN location in their area? And are there any specific qualifications that someone needs to have before opening a new location?
Yeah. So the first thing would be just reaching out to me and Courtney, who is our liaison at the IFA for the Women's Franchise Network groups. And just to start a dialogue with me on it. We have a whole host of a Google Drive resources that are available to new chapters that want to get started. But at the base level, the minimum to be a chapter chair is to just be an IFA member and be willing and interested to start one. There's nothing else really besides that. We have lots of recommendations about what we recommend to start opening. We recommend that you have more than one chair, just kind of are things that I would outline in our initial call. And we have a lot of resources available that you can turn to when you're starting a chapter. I like to say that there's, like I said before, there's no right or wrong way to do it, and not to overcomplicate things. It can be as simple as meeting quarterly for coffee, meeting quarterly for a happy hour or lunch. It's really the things that are available to you, or the things that are going to work, are really going to be dictated by the membership that you have. But it's really just keeping it simple. You don't have to do big panels. We have chapters that have been going for 10, 15 years now that put on more fulsome events, have speakers, have panels. All of those options are available to you. But it can just be a very simple thing too, just to create an additional network of women and resources available to you.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much, Megan. And Caitlin, kind of passing that question back to you. I know FBNs and WFNs operate pretty similarly, but is there a similar process to open an FBN location as there is for WFNs?
Sure. Yeah. Like what Megan said, just reach out to myself, or honestly anyone here at IFA, and we can connect you. They'll connect you with me. Basically, you just reach out and say, hey, I live at this location. I'm interested in starting this. There is the rule that you can't have two FBN chapters within 50 miles of each other. So just because of where I live and I can map this geography, you can't have a Washington, DC FBN, and then also an Arlington, Virginia FBN. Just a little too, we also probably necessarily wouldn't do a Baltimore one and a Washington, DC one, just because to help make sure we gather the local is, can be large for some places. So that's really the hard and fast rule there. And then also things to think through though, if you want to start a chapter, there are things that you have to continue throughout the year, which is hosting 3 to 4 networking educational events in the face of IFA. So these network chapters are there to promote IFA's mission: protect, promote, enhance franchising. So it's really not for Caitlin Russell Law Firm to push their agenda. Caitlin Russell Law Firm is the face of IFA for that local network. And so there's, some questions that go through as you propose a new FBN chapter, but really within 50 miles of each other. And then you also have to show that at least 10 local members or attendees to your events are active and participating each time, again, in order to keep it up. It is something to really think through. It is a bit of, a year-long process or a year-long commitment to do something. And we appreciate that support, and we, help support you as much as you can. But it's not just signing up and then you can have coffee, whatever you feel like it. There are some rules there just so we can make sure that local network stays active and it stays engaged locally and with IFA here in DC.
Perfect, absolutely. Yeah, and I was previously the staff liaison for FBN. So as Caitlin and Megan have both said, we are appreciative of all of the current hosts and anyone who wants to raise their hand in the future to become a host. But it is definitely a commitment and something that if you do want to take that next step, then we are here, IFA, as a resource 100% to help you in any way we can. But yeah, just keeping it going and making sure that you are engaging with the local network as much as possible. So another kind of question now that we're on the topic of how can someone become a host, how can an individual get involved in their local FBN or WFN chapter by just attending? Like what does that process look like? Do they have to go through this long, arduous situation, or is it as simple as just maybe talking to one of you guys?
Yeah, I can feel that. If you are a member of IFA, you can join an FBN or a WFN. There's no additional charge. There's no membership process, at least on the FBN side. Megan, hop in if I say something that doesn't work with your group. But if you go to franchise.org/regional-franchising/networks, I'll put the link in the chat here, but that has a list of all this map. It'll have a list of all of the local chapters for FBN and WFN, along with the host contacts. And so a great way to get involved is to reach out directly to those hosts or email myself, or for WFN's Megan or Courtney Thompson here at the IFA, and we can connect you directly with the host. Again, these people are willing to do this. They're here to grow that network. So they're usually very engaged, very responsive to anybody looking to join. But again, no additional membership fee to join a chapter. You can honestly, if it's a webinar that you hear about in Philly and you live in Austin, Texas, you can also still join that as well. They're open to everyone. Non-members can attend once or twice, but we do try to get them to join then to keep coming. The only thing to note is sometimes there will be a charge to attend the meeting if a meal is involved. So that's actually very rare that you're going to get charged for a meal. It's a nominal fee, but just to put that out there. But to actually be a part of, say, Austin FBN, I don't even think that is one. So Houston FBN, there is no additional membership fee. If you're a member of IFA, you are welcome to join and get involved however you would like.
Yeah, and I would say one
Perfect.
thing that we're trying to do a better job of when someone connects with me about getting involved is saying, hey, is there a time where you'd like to maybe be a co-chair or committee member? Because we have a lot of our WFNs have been approaching it with more of a committee-based leadership approach to help divide and conquer. If they're doing 3-4 events, that's like each person has their designated job or each person takes control of one event. So in the event that you want to get more involved at a leadership level, or maybe want to in the future, I would say talk about that now and ask for it now.
Yeah, absolutely. All perfect things, and yeah, all very true. So what are kind of, out of everything we've talked about, it is actually a very straightforward process to just attend an FBN, because as Caitlin and Megan have both said, the hosts do put a lot of time and effort into putting on the events, and they obviously want people to be there. So we try not to put up too much red tape, because we do want these events to be successful. But for both of you to answer again, what are kind of 2 to 3 key points that you'd like the audience to kind of come away with? We do have contact information on the screen for both FBNs and WFNs. But yeah, what are kind of 2 to 3 key things that they can kind of take away from this, and maybe some action items?
You go first, Caitlin.
Okay.
Yours.
Yeah, to echo what Megan said at the top of this discussion, it's really about getting involved with your local community in franchising. I think if you guys are here and you have been attending in the franchise industry for a while, you know it's very open, very welcome to sharing, connecting, making connections, and helping others. And so this is just a nice way, either of the FBNs or WFNs are a nice way to do it in your town or near your town. And so you get local connections. A lot of the FBNs have an education side to them. So a discussion topic of some point. Local marketing, AI, immigration, we just had one on that. So you'll see that FBNs, a lot of what we call our supplier members host them. And so they're already offering some services to the rest of the franchising community, whether you're franchisee, franchisor, or another supplier. So they also have some great educational aspects to add to these. So it's a chance to get to network locally, and then also to add some education right in your hometown, right at your computer, and for no charge, really. Megan, anything
Mine
else?
would be, yeah, mine would be, when Caitlin was talking, she reminded me of a couple things about kind of the minimal requirements for a WFN to remain active within the community. We recommend that, or we require that groups hold at least two events per year. It doesn't need to be a quarterly, but we want to be sure that someone isn't using this as just a resume builder or something to list. As Caitlin can attest, we want these groups to be active. We want these groups to be engaged and not just sitting there. We also like to encourage people that are on committees, at least for our side, to not also be a chair of a WFN, or to kind of roll off in the event that they do get on a committee or forum, because we want to keep this open and inclusive and keep it and let these opportunities be available for people that want to get more involved. So to the extent you've already kind of transitioned into a higher level of commitment within the IFA, we want to give more opportunities for people down the line to also co-chair and to continue kind of the stream of people that are coming in. So I would say those are two things that I would add on the WFN side. and to really do it. It's so much fun. I've met so many wonderful people getting involved in mine. I live outside of Philly. Philly is one of the bigger ones, and we have 3-4 events a year. Some of them are panels, some of them are kind of just a networking component. If anyone's in Philly, there's one 2 weeks or a week from Tuesday. We're doing a franchise crawl. So we're going and visiting local franchise businesses within our community, which I think is super fun. So there's lots of different ways to get involved. And this is just such a wonderful and fulfilling way to do so. So 3, I got 3.
And I'll just
No.
Sid, by saying it's also a great way to learn more about IFA. I know you guys are here right now to learn about what IFA has to offer because we do have a lot of member benefits, and it can sort of be hard to sort of figure out what exactly is. But if you get in with that local network that you already know is involved in IFA, you can learn things. They can give you ideas. Hey, you're looking for marketing education. Here's where to go, or here's who to contact. Again, it's really a great way to not only grow in your franchising career, but in IFA, and to create that community at the top of IFA and locally as well. And then I'll shut up.
No, perfect. You guys did amazing. That was great feedback and some like final points and tips. And Megan, I love that idea of a franchise crawl. That is very cool. I don't think I've seen that done yet with the FBN or WFN, so I'm excited to see how that goes. And
My dog literally just started barking. Atlanta started it, so I can't take full credit for it,
okay.
but I'm super pumped. It was super fun.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. And then the last thing I will say, because Caitlin did mention that education piece, not every single FBN or WFN, but if it has been approved for it, can provide, I believe, at least one IFA Live learning credit, which goes towards fulfilling a credit for your CFE. So if you are in or enrolled in the CFE program, this is another way to potentially earn more credits to finalize or get your CFE. All right. Thank you so much, Caitlin and Megan. I so appreciate that you guys gave some amazing information. And like I said, I was the previous staff liaison for the FBNs, but I am not super well versed on WFN, so I feel like I've learned a lot myself. But thank you both so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, so moving on to Franship, which is our mentor program. I will kind of pass things over to Zach Kirschner, who is going to be kind of asking me some questions as the staff liaison for Franship.
Awesome. Thanks, Sid. I guess for starters, how about you just introduce yourself and give the audience some background on the work you do over here at the IFA?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Sydney again, for anyone who may have just joined. I feel like I've introduced myself 4 times already. But I am the manager of member services and recruitment at IFA and retention. I obviously don't know my own title. And it's changed a couple times. But I've been with IFA for about 4.5 years. And my primary kind of role at IFA is once a new member joins, I am kind of the first point of contact. I will send the welcome email and schedule a one-on-one onboarding with them. So there might be some people on this call that I have spoken to already. But yeah, I kind of work on keeping the members that we already have and working cross-functionally with other departments to kind of retain members. And yeah, Franship is one of the programs that I run.
Perfect. And yeah, let's right into the next question. What is Franship?
Yeah, so Franship is IFA's mentor program. It's been around for almost 15 years. I believe it got started, or the concept came to fruition at, I believe it was a Fran Connect event in 2011. Paul Rocchio was approached by somebody who had this great idea for IFA to create a mentor program that would provide an opportunity for people who are brand new in franchising to be matched up with a veteran in the industry to kind of walk them through things, answer questions that they might have, and just kind of be a shoulder to lean on. So it's been around for a while. There was definitely a point in time, kind of post-COVID, where there was a bit of a lull in the program and it wasn't being talked about as frequently. But over the last kind of 2 years, I've done a lot of work to kind of bring Franship back on the map and make sure it is being utilized as a benefit because it is a really great one.
Definitely is. And how can you get involved in friendship as, a mentor, a mentee? Are there any specific qualifications that you need in order to be a mentor?
Yeah, so to get involved as a mentor or mentee is very simple and straightforward. The really only hard requirement we have for someone to become a mentor is that they need to have been in franchising for at least 5 years. And that doesn't matter on what side, like if you were a franchisee for 5 years and now you're a franchisor or a supplier, it doesn't matter. As long as you've been in franchising for at least 5 years, you can become a mentor. Some looser requirements that we don't really list off, but that we would hope the mentor has, or some traits, are that you are passionate about becoming a mentor. That's something you're interested in, to kind of give your time back in that way. And then to become a mentee, there are no requirements at all. It is also very straightforward. We would just need your top 3 picks of a potential mentor and a completed enrollment form. And once I got that information back, I would match you up with the mentor that was available out of your selections, and then you're off to start the relationship. So it's very easy to get involved with the program on either side, being a mentor or a mentee.
Perfect. Yeah. And how long does that friendship relationship last on average? And how often should the mentor and the mentee plan to meet?
Sure, yeah. So the relationship lasts for about a year, the official friendship relationship. But I've definitely had some situations with mentors and mentees that become actually very great friends and continue a personal and working relationship past the program, which is honestly, I don't know if that's what it was initially designed to accomplish, but I think it's a very great benefit of the program that it doesn't just have to stop as soon as the official friendship relationship ends after that year. I hope that, within that year, you are able to create a really long lasting connection with your mentor or your mentee, and that it can continue after the fact. Um, and I normally suggest to have at least 4 meetings in that year or one a quarter. However, I have definitely seen a very large uptick in mentors and mentees having 1 meeting a month or a meeting every other month. But the frequency of the meetings is definitely up to the mentor and mentee to decide on. After you guys are matched up, I kind of take a bit of a hands-off approach. I do check in once a month just to make sure everything's going smoothly. You've been able to get in contact with each other and nothing crazy is happening. But it really is your relationship to have. So you guys can kind of tailor it however you want to.
Perfect. And is there any additional cost involved with participating in friendship? Is anyone eligible to take part in the program?
Absolutely. So no, there is no cost to take advantage of friendship. Again, on the mentor or mentee side, you just have to be an IFA member to be a mentor or a mentee because it is a benefit of membership, but there's no additional cost that you would need to pay outside of the dues that your company pays to be an IFA member. And it is open, like I said, to everyone. Doesn't matter, if you've been in franchising for forever, but you maybe are in a new role and need to be a mentee. Or if you have just hit that 5-year mark and you feel ready to become a mentor, we are definitely welcoming to you joining. I did want to mention one other thing that I totally forgot, but it's probably not that important.
Yeah, I mean, if there's any other key points that you think the audience would be of value to them, feel free to share that here, and any other additional ways that they can contact you if they have questions about friendship.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the key points and the things that I just remembered, so Franship is open to any member. So it's not just for one person at the company to be a mentee or to serve as a mentor. As many people on your team can become mentees and have their own mentors. We are also always open to having multiple people at a brand be mentors as well. So that is one takeaway, because I think there's some misconception sometimes that it's just for one person, or if multiple people from a company want to participate as mentees, they all have to share a mentor. We actually don't want that to happen. We don't want the mentor to feel overwhelmed. And we want, it should be kind of a one-on-one conversation. Um, Another takeaway, if you know, feel like you want to become a mentor, but maybe you're not sure, I would definitely be more than happy to connect you with a long-term mentor to kind of give you some more information on what that process looks like. I can definitely give you as much information as I can, but hearing it from someone who's actually in the program might be more helpful. And then one other thing, which I will add this link in my follow-up email, but a couple months ago, there was a podcast that Ali Kraus with Benetrends did. It's a Women in Franchising podcast. And she interviewed myself, and then Dawn Abamondi and her mentee, Paul Ellinger, spoke on kind of how their relationship has gone and how Franship has really helped Paul, and Dawn serves as a mentor. So those are kind of the top three things. My contact information is on the screen. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to shoot me an email. I'm more than happy to talk to you about it and also have a call one-on-one to discuss more. Thank you, Zach. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Sid.
And now we're going to just really quickly kind of touch on our education department / our CFE. So within education, we have Sandy Curtis, who's the vice president, Melissa Chang, who is the director, and Brittany Cosby, who is the senior manager of certification programs, and runs the CFE program. So the first portion is the IFA Academy. I always like to talk about this because I think it is still a little lesser known to some people. It is still relatively new. I believe we launched the Academy about 2 years ago, maybe a little bit more. But it is IFA's learning management system. And we created or launched this Academy after realizing a need for our members to have accessible, flexible, and high quality education. The Academy offers a wide range of courses that focus on topics like operations, marketing, finance, really any type of course you would need to help make you a well-rounded professional in franchising. Because courses in the Academy are online, this allows for a self-paced learning environment where individuals can complete courses on their own time. And most, if not all, of the courses we offer in person at IFA events, like at convention, are offered online through the Academy. So again, kind of leaning into that self-paced learning environment instead of maybe doing an in-person course. And then the last thing I'll mention about the Academy, this is a really great resource to utilize if you're a new company in the industry that may not have the time or resources to pull together training and education for your staff. This is a really great place to kind of browse and look to see what courses might be helpful to train not just yourself, but people you employ. And there are also some free course options as well. So that is also a plus. CFE, our certification program. I'm sure all of you, even before you joined IFA, had heard a little something about CFE or had seen the CFE designation after people's names on LinkedIn. But the Certified Franchise Executive Program is IFA's certification program of over 30 years. Earning your CFE designation is a way that individuals demonstrate their commitment to leadership and continuous professional and personal development in the franchise industry. Individuals who go through the CFE program do so to gain a well-rounded, comprehensive understanding of all aspects of franchising, like legal, business, and operations. A common misconception about the program is that it's just for franchisors and franchisees, but it is open and beneficial to all, and that includes suppliers. Many of the suppliers that I've spoken to that have earned their CFE go through the program to gain a better understanding of the franchisor or franchisee experience so that they're more well equipped to kind of have those conversations with them. So if you ever have any questions about enrollment, kind of what the time frame looks like to earn your CFE, anything like that, you can reach out to cfe@franchise.org. You will probably be put in contact with Brittany Cosby, who is an absolute rock star and can answer any questions that you have. And definitely also set up a call with you as well to kind of talk through the program a bit more and see what might work best for you. All right, and now I'm going to take a break from you guys hearing my voice for a little bit and let Zach kick us off with the foundation team.
Awesome. Thank you, Sydney. Like you said, this is our awesome foundation team led by Jillian Scott. We have David Smith, Wendy Coons, and Tara McKeon working on the foundation side, which happy to jump into. So within the foundation, it houses a few different initiatives that the IFA puts forth. First would be our Diversity Institute, which houses our Pride Franchise Leadership Council, as well as our Black Franchise Leadership Council and our Hispanic Latino Franchise Leadership Council. Since 2005, it's been the mission of the Diversity Institute to make the American dream accessible to everyone. Through our various programs and events, the Diversity Institute enhances diversity and inclusion across the franchising community by increasing awareness of the franchise business model for people from underrepresented backgrounds. So our programs are designed to both provide franchise ownership training to diverse populations, as well as cultivate a convenient place for people to explore franchise opportunities with companies actively recruiting multicultural franchisees. This leads me into the Franchise Ascension Initiative, which was recently just started about a year or so ago. We just completed our first class. The Franchise Ascension Initiative is a 6-month accelerator course aimed at preparing qualified individuals from underrepresented groups and economically disadvantaged communities with the education, mentorship, resources, and support to successfully launch a career in franchise ownership. Moving us on to VetFran. The mission of VetFran is really twofold. It's to educate both veterans and franchisors about the unique match between the skills and aptitude of entrepreneurial veterans and the demands and and opportunities of being a franchisee. It also allows veterans to facilitate the transition of, going from that military background into franchising by encouraging franchisors to offer discounts and incentives to veterans on the one hand, and to also assemble resources, tools, and a database of franchising opportunities for veterans on the other. In addition to that, we have our Franchising Gives Back initiative. I'm not sure how many of y'all have been to our IFA annual convention. I remember my first convention in Phoenix, Arizona. We had our Franchise Gives Back initiative, which we were packing lunches for a local food bank. So that was a very meaningful program. And then recently at our convention in Vegas, we had an entire hall that was dedicated towards highlighting various franchisor brands and supplier partners dedicated to giving back to their community. Additionally, the foundation houses various scholarship programs and some best practices within industry research. Which leads us to our largest team over here at the IFA, our government relations team. At heart, we are a trade association that works on protecting, promoting, and enhancing the franchise business model on state, local, and federal levels. Our government relations team is really working around the clock 24/7. They worked hard yesterday towards promoting World Franchise Day, both in the House and the Senate, getting a proclamation passed. So that was pretty cool. Happy to talk about the initiatives we have going on within government relations. Like I said, we're working around the clock on the federal, state, and local levels to protect, enhance, and promote the business model that we all know and love. Within the government relations side of things, we have our IFA Law Center, which protects the franchise business model in federal and state courts on issues threatening the future of franchising. Beyond that, too, we have our Franchise Action Network, which really acts as the premier grassroots of franchise business people through which you can have a voice with elected officials. Whether you're looking to expand your influence or stay informed on important legislative matters, joining IFA's Franchise Action Network means being committed to the growth and success of franchising. No matter the issue, becoming a member of FAN ensures our award-winning government relations team can help protect your business. Beyond that, too, our FranPAC initiative really is an opportunity for members to provide financial support to candidates for federal office, as well as a robust PAC meaning that more contributions to candidates who understand franchising allows us to educate those representatives on franchising, who will then, in the future promote a legislative and regulatory climate favorable to franchising. And then the last thing, which is arguably my favorite initiative from government relations, would be our Open for Opportunity campaign, which is really a local initiative that allows our members to host local, state, and federal officials at their franchise business. So it really does allow those local, state, federal, and city lawmakers to attend and learn more about the critical role that franchising plays in their community. So that is just a little bit about our government relations team and the work that they do over there. Happy to answer any questions that anyone has as well. And then the last thing too, we have our advocacy summit. This is largely seen as my favorite event. I know a handful of my other colleagues' favorite event within the IFA ecosystem. It's a nice 3 days where the first 2 days we're covering some hot button issues in franchising from more of a legislative lens. On the third day, we break you up by state and we send you up to Capitol Hill to then go lobby and advocate for the franchise business model. So Megan, thank you so much for tooting the horn on this event. It really is my favorite and one that I look forward to every year. So I hope that I can see you guys in September at it. Sydney, I'll pass it back to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Zach. All right, we are nearing the end. So the next sections we're going to be talking about are our events and kind of our sales team and how they help suppliers and franchisors promote their brands, whether it's in person at events or digitally or in print through advertising. So we have our sales team over to the left, which is spearheaded by Sheila Fisher. And then over to the right, we have Alan Catlett, which was the head of our events department. You guys have seen Caitlin today, who falls under events as well. So kind of jumping into all of our in-person events. So we have just straight up IFA events that are our annual events throughout the year. And then we do have 3 partner events every year as well. Many of you, even if you've never attended convention, have probably heard of our annual convention. It is our largest event each year and also the largest event within the franchise industry. No matter what your role is in franchising, if you're a franchisor or franchisee, supplier, you're in marketing, operations, finance, it does not matter. There is something there for everyone at convention. And convention is a really great opportunity for suppliers to promote their product or service by sponsoring or exhibiting. And then the primary attendees are franchisors and franchisees. I do always like to plug this for suppliers, definitely not to take away from our sales team. But if you are a supplier who is attending convention for the first time, you do not at any point, but you do not need to sponsor or exhibit at convention in order to attend. You can attend as a general attendee. And I just like to let new suppliers know that just because if it is your first convention, it can be a little overwhelming. And it's a great opportunity to kind of just get a feel for the event before committing to exhibiting and kind of being tied to a booth for a lot of the time. Outside of convention, all of our other events throughout the year are smaller, kind of more niche events, which I'll run through very quickly. So Legal Symposium and the IFA Joint Conference are geared towards franchise attorneys. For Legal Symposium, though, we do have a non-attorney registration type. So if you are just very interested in kind of learning the legal side of things and kind of how all that works in franchising, Legal Symposium is a great event to attend. I do believe the IFA Joint Conference is still just for attorneys, but these are 2 awesome events as well. The IFA World Franchise Show 2025 is the first year of that event. So both the IFA World Franchise Show and the International Franchise Show in London are geared towards franchisors exhibiting and potential franchisees attending, or even people who are currently franchisees but are maybe interested in being multi-unit, multi-brand franchisees. And then, as Zach already mentioned, our Advocacy Summit, a really, really great event to let your voice be heard and tell the good word of franchising. And then our last event every year is the Emerging Franchisor Conference, which is geared towards brands that have, I believe, 100 franchise units or less. If you have more franchise units than that, you're more than welcome to attend, but this is really for brands who are really just starting out in the space. All of the content is geared towards them. And then I would be remiss if I did not mention our other two partner events, Franchise Customer Experience Conference and the Franchise Leadership and Development Conference. FCXC is coming up in a couple weeks. Franchise Leadership and Development will be in October. Both events are in Atlanta and they are partnered events with Franchise Update Media. All right, and then some other promotion opportunities that are, again, all digital and print is through advertising. So these are not all of the advertising products that we offer. There are actually a lot, and there's just not enough room on the screen to kind of highlight all of them. But there are a host of different opportunities for franchisors and suppliers who, again, promote their brands digitally and in print, whether that be having a ad in the printed guide, our franchise opportunities guide, having an enhanced listing in that guide, which would include a logo, having an enhanced listing on our website, which would be showing up first under your specific category, and having some other bells and whistles on your page. Webinars are a really great way, specifically for suppliers, to kind of hold a thought leadership position and kind of be the expert on a specific topic and share and educate the attendees. The Franchising World magazine, we have, I believe, 6 or 7 editions a year. It's a really great read. And again, other opportunities to kind of have an ad out and things like that. So if you ever have any questions about advertising specifically and kind of what opportunities there are and what might fit best for you as a company and a brand, you can visit franchise.org/media-kit. Or you can reach out to me directly and I can connect you with my colleague Carly Woolley, who is the Senior Director of Advertising. All right, I already did an overview of our event, so I'm not going to jump too deep into this, but again, these are still the upcoming 2025 events, and these are the events that have passed already in 2025 with the 2026 dates. If you ever want to just view a full list of our events, you can go to franchise.org/events to see dates and any information on upcoming events. And then last but not least, before we close things out, I just wanted to touch on our preferred vendors. Our preferred vendors are suppliers that have been vetted by IFA and to become preferred vendors. So we currently have Answer Connect, Benetrends, Cost and Contact, Consumer Fusion, who was the newest one that we just announced a couple weeks ago, Paychex, and Scorpion. So again, if you ever have any questions about a preferred vendor, or you just want to see the list and kind of what services or products they provide to the industry, you can go to franchise.org/IFA-preferred-vendors. All right, and that brings us to the end of the webinar. Thank you guys so much for attending. We do have about 10 minutes. If you have any questions, you can definitely feel free to drop them in the chat. But I'm also always happy to give people time back to their day. All right, doesn't look like we have any questions. Thank you again so much for attending. And thank you again for being an IFA member. We could not do anything that we do without you guys as members. And thank you to Megan and Caitlin for sharing on information about FBNs and WFNs. And thank you for Zach for joining us as well and giving us information about the foundation and GR. Hope everyone has a great rest of your day and has a wonderful weekend upcoming.
Appreciate it.